Hi, Taurus. This is Chronic Joy Tarot. Good to see you guys again. This is going to be a general Zen Tarot reading for those born under the sign of Taurus, or if it's your moon or rising sign, or if you are just guided here. Maybe you're cross-watching. This is actually less about others, though. So if you're cross-watching, I would guide you to take the advice for yourself, okay? This is about your soul, your growth, what you can focus on in order to continue to expand. Yeah, so this is sort of an intuitive take on your own personal development, okay? The oracle, I usually pull an oracle card to give us a focus, a topic or a theme to focus on, an aspect of ourselves. And I pulled from this deck. Let me show you. It's Crystal Wisdom Healing deck. And the card I pulled for you guys, Taurus, is Carnelian. So there's a traditional aspect to this stone that has to do with sort of being afraid to speak up in front of others or worried about what others may think of you. And this stone will give you that power to sort of empower you to show up as your full self. We can also take it a step further and just use it as a general sense of self-expression, expressing that creative space that you have within you and bringing it out into the world, sharing your gifts. Okay? The spread that I'm using here is called the Flying Bird. It's the Zen Tarot deck by Osho. And we have a point of liftoff here, and then we take flight and come to a new level of awareness. Your starting point right now, Taurus, yep. The rebel. Break free of look at this guy, breaking the chains. Break those chains, break them free, let yourself out. It's exactly what we just said about this. I love how this stuff lines up. And yeah, it's time. There may be a situation that you have where you're feeling a little tempered, that you haven't been able to speak your mind or show your soul. And this guidance is really encouraging you to go ahead and do so at this time. It doesn't have to come bursting out in an aggressive way. Just simply begin to expose, your inner self. Just show up as your truth a little more often, right? And you might want to, you might be surprised at how things change around you. The left wing here for these cards, for this spread, the Flying Bird, are internal energies. These are things that you hold within you that perhaps you don't always share with others. And the right side are external energies and kind of the way they manifest out into your life. The first internal card is called the Fear of Flying, and it's a potential block to your progress. So in the spirit of opening yourself up and showing, your soul and showing others your truth, the Going with the Flow card, this is the card, the internal energy that may trip you up. So, okay, a situation, I'm going to make up a situation here, but it might pertain to some of you, or you could relate it to in your own life. So you're in a relationship and you have certain desires. Say you just barely started seeing somebody, or you really like this person. It could be a friendship, it could be a love relationship, it could be a work relationship. You really like this person and you want them to like you, but you're afraid that if you show up as all of who you are, that they won't. Right? Then you start to sort of just slowly speak your mind, show up, what's in your heart, let that out. And you're received with ease. And so this internal struggle that you have, oh, I can't show them, I can't. If you release some of that need to fulfill others' expectation of you, if you release that, you may be pleasantly surprised that, oh my gosh, it just, everything opens up when I let go of that thought process that, so, a certain behavior or, a certain side of my personality, I'm expected to behave a certain way, basically, is what I'm trying to say. If you let go of that thought process, you may find that, wow, that really opens up so much for me. This is all about you, Taurus, and it's all about being your truth. And if there is a situation where you're not doing so, then gently start to look for the little opportunities to let your truth out. Let your opinion out. It doesn't have to, like I said, come out harshly, but just be. It's okay. Oh, look at this. If you feel like you're an outsider, that's what we just said. If you feel like you won't be accepted by others, by, showing up as your full self, that's nothing to really worry about. If you look at this little boy, he's looking through the gate, really wants to get to the other side, but that lock that's holding the gate, it's not even engaged, the lock on the chain. So all he really needs to do is open the gate and move through. All you really need to do is let flow out from what's within you, let it flow out and step into a new reality, sort of, a new way of being seen, accepted, and it's going to be, more as your true self. There's a lot of ease in that. From there, almost anything feels possible once you really, really are aligned with your truth and living it and speaking it and conveying it, embodying it every day. Internally, you might want to revert back to drawing that mask back up and hiding, your truths. And that's okay, because this could waver. This path of, this full creative expression, it could have, ups and downs. And you might find moments where it is more, it just feels safer to hold back and not, like I said, blast everything out at once, right? But there's a flow to it. It's a give and take. You are completely worthy and completely beautiful as you are. And that's what you're moving toward acknowledging. Okay? What others think of you, isn't as important. But if you do feel like you need to sort of, pull back and hide in moments, then that's okay too. But just remember that the ultimate goal is that release of those shields. Okay? And as you go about your day-to-day life, be sure to rest and enjoy and trust in every single moment. This figure is moving down the river. He's walking along. He's got his eyes closed. He's stepping from stone to stone, isn't really looking at where the next stone's going to come from, but he knows it will. He trusts it. He's trusting the path. And that's where, with your need to really show up and show your soul out, there might be moments when you need to pull back, and that's okay. Just trust that process, because as you grow and as you develop spiritually and you become more in tune with your soul's needs, your life becomes more creative. It becomes more engaging. Others flock to you, and your goals are met. It becomes easier. To do so. I understand what it's like to want to show up as you believe others need you to. Okay? I've been there. And there's just much less stress when that isn't part of the picture, when that energy, that desire to fulfill others' needs does not come first. Okay? There are times for that, but your needs are first. The next internal energy here is suppression. This is like, you feel like you want to hold back, but it's in direct contrast with the rebel, right? With the whole meaning of this reading. You might feel that there's a lot of stuff buried in you that needs to come out. And so, like I said, little by little, it's okay. You don't need to explode it all out at once onto others or even in, within you. It's really a pacing issue. It's a matter of, letting aspects of you ease up and then work on the next one. Like say you're, I don't know, let's say that you're, I don't know, your childhood, maybe there was something that happened to sort of squash your spirit in your childhood, and it taught you to not fully be, your whole self. It taught you to just stay in line and keep your mouth shut and don't have an opinion, right? And then you got into a relationship with a partner that kind of added to that, Bert, and kind of said the same to you. Don't speak up, because that's all you knew, right? And maybe now you're in a place where, my opinion matters. And the way I see things matters for my life. And so you can gently start to introduce those things into the situation and not hold them in. Not let them eat away at you. You are completely worthy, to the core, exactly as you are. Okay, the final external energy here and kind of the outlook of, or the overview of this entire reading is the art of letting go. I love it because, showing up as you requires some letting go of the old, right? It requires some of that. And you also might find that as you go through this process, a lot of times as we're awakening, as we're gaining more and more spiritual awareness and the sort of three-dimensional physical realities fall away, they're still important because we're human beings, but they're not as important. Like, I don't know, if you had certain ideas, in an earlier time in your life that made you believe, certain status levels were really important in life. And the way things, like the car you drive or the job you have or the education, those things might not feel as important anymore because your inner world has been holding back and trying to meet some of those expectations. Well, now it's time to let go of some of those old paradigms, those old stories, and let out, who you really are, what your truth is, what your creative self is. This is all, and like I said, this reading is for like whenever you come upon it, May 2018 or whatever, since that's the way it's tagged. But this whole process, this is an ongoing practice that many of us, probably all of us, need to address over and over, and in different levels and with different relationships and different ways, different situations in our lives, throughout our lives. This has become more and more of who you are, and worry less about how others need you to be. It's a pretty simple but not very easy practice to play out. But you can do it even if you take one aspect of your life right now, Taurus, and work on that. Okay? All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I love doing this and I love sharing this community. I will see you guys on the next video. Okay? Love you.